What's up, Arizona? You're watching 12 Sports Tonight. I'm Cameron Cox, talking all things Arizona sports. As always, we're going to tell you the important stories, the ones that matter, and introduce you to people that inspire. This is 12 Sports Tonight, Arizona's OG and longest running sports show, streaming for you for free. Let's go. We are camping with the Devils all week long as ASU makes their annual trip up here to Camp T. Listen, this tradition for ASU dating all the way back to the 60s. Head coach Kenny Dillingham has always talked about how important it is to keep that tradition alive, to continue to bring his team up here, not only for the team bonding aspect, but so they can just experience something many have never before.
We saw a bear last year. It wasn't a bear, it was a cow roaming right here last year, and it walked right on the field, used the restroom and then left. And so there's all sorts of crazy things that happen up here. And, some of the guys have never been in these situations, so it's kind of fun.
Camping in the woods, Sun Devil style. On a trip to Camp T, football is the easiest obstacle.
You're just trapped with everybody. You're all kind of in misery together, and you got to find a way how to enjoy it.
The White Mountains offering cooler weather and the best views.
Man, it's beautiful. Like, where else is this? I don't know anywhere. Like, it's beautiful. Where else can you do this?
Mixed with the biggest bugs. Find any bugs yet?
Oh, man, I think I got bit last night somewhere.
A lot of beetles, a lot of big
beetles.
Yeah, there was one on my homeboy, Boogie Wilson. There was a beetle on him going on the 2 minute. Yeah.
And bunk bed sleeping arrangements.
We got bunks. The bunks maybe like, I don't know. We barely could fit in them.
Talking to some players like, has there ever been a place you stayed that had worse living arrangements than here? And there has not been an answer other than no, right? Like, it's just, this is stuck 40 years old.
Yeah, the sleeping is like a little bit mid, but like it's so special. I mean, that's what I tell a lot of the new guys. No one in the country gets to do this.
But the bonds made on this trip build wins, especially those campfire convos.
The campfire, it was scary. I ain't gonna lie to you. It was scary because we when all the position groups was out there, it was kind of light out there. The campfire is lit. And it was only one group. I stayed to the last group. It was one fire. And you look behind you, you can't see nothing at all. And we sitting there talking about scary stories and stuff. So I ain't never done that before.
You can make the best of whatever situation you have, and I feel like our team right now is just making the best of what we have and having a great time.
Where you sleep, who cares? Okay, you're in the triple bunk, great. I couldn't get down to go to the bathroom last night because I didn't have, I was on the top bunk and I couldn't get down, right? It was pitch dark. I'm like, well, it is what it is. Right? I mean, that's what Camp T's about.
Now, this week for the players is all about team bonding, right? They live in cabins. The whole idea is to get the team closer together. But it's also a bonding experience for the coaches.
Oh, I don't like uncomfortable. You just got to get comfortable being uncomfortable.
You embrace that, though.
Embrace it. Doesn't mean you like it, right? Okay. Nobody likes it, right? You just got to embrace it and know that you're going to grow from it.
Like the players, the coaches are adjusting to the Camp T living arrangements.
I'm on a top bunk. We got 6 people in a little 10 by 10.
Like the players, the coaches are also staying in these bunk bed style cabins together.
If we're going to make our players do this, then we're going to do it as staff. We're not going to put our players in this and then say we're going to go, somewhere else or whatever that is. Like, we're going to be here. Even us being in there and hanging out together in the morning and having an 8-person line to get coffee out of the one coffee and we're just waiting for the next. All those things, like, it helps the staff too. Like, we're all bonding together.
Speaking of bonds, father and son Sun Devils from Glendale. That's former Kellis High School star Tristan Bacon and his dad Barry, who played for the Devils and practiced right here at Camp T in the early 90s.
It is so exciting. I just get goosebumps, man, seeing him out here doing his thing.
It's amazing, now that he's played here and I'm playing here. It's great to be practicing and look off to the side. I see my dad right there,
Did you ever watch any tape of Dad back in the day? How would you evaluate his skill set?
Man, so if he was on the other side of the ball and I was playing linebacker, obviously I'm tackling him every single time for a TFL.
Want to respond to that?
He wouldn't be able to catch me. He wouldn't be able to catch me. I'm too quick.
You can see the speed in your eye.
4.27.
Quick, can y'all go face to face real quick? Y'all turn face there. Look at that. Look, see? Dad, I think you still got him.
Yeah. See? Turn it on and turn it off.
And speaking of turning off, back when he was a grad assistant for the Sun Devils a little more than 10 years ago, Kenny wished he could have flipped the off switch to the printer he was forced to sleep next to.
So we have like a room with printer and there's a screen. My bed was behind the screen. So I just remember all night somebody was printing, whether it was defense or special teams. And then if the defense stayed up late, they'd be printing till midnight and I wouldn't be asleep. And then the special teams guys were up at 5 printing because they're early print guys. and I'd be like, this machine never stops. Let's still give them experiences that a lot of people who played sports when they were younger remember, and it's stuff like this. It's crazy things. Like, remember when that coach did blank? Remember when that kid caught the tarantula? It's things like that that will stick with you forever, not just the football. So I want to make sure they have experiences here that create affinity for the football program. And when they're gone here, long and gone, they have moments that when they come back to Camp T, they're rolling down memory lane.
The Devils will be out here for the rest of the week, and then don't forget the annual Maroon and Gold scrimmage is always Saturday morning, 9 a.m. kickoff. But listen, we all know the drill, right? Get here at sunrise. They're going to be parking on the highway. At Camp Tontezona, Cameron Cox, 12 Sports. What a week it was in Canton. 12 Sports giving you an all-access behind-the-scenes pass from Larry's locker at the Hall of Fame to the emotional gold jacket ceremony to his Hall of Fame speech that you felt in your soul because it was so perfectly Arizona. Drafted 3rd overall in 04, 17 seasons. This career Cardinal racked up the 2nd most receiving yards and receptions all time. Moments after he stepped off the stage, I talked one-on-one with Larry Legend. Larry Fitzgerald, Hall of Famer. How does it sound, my friend?
Yeah, man, it sounds amazing. And, it wouldn't be possible without my folks in Arizona. Obviously I played on the football field, and that's why I was inducted today. But, I'm just so thankful for that community, the nurture, how they nurtured me, and they gave me a chance to grow and supported me no matter good times or bad times. And I'm just so very grateful to be able to play in a place that represents excellence, and can't wait to get home to celebrate with everybody.
You held it together. You held it together up there.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of tears that were shed this week, and, I wanted to, just kind of be professional and get the message. I probably read the speech 100 times, and it's still, you feel the nerves and the anxiety kind of coursing through your veins, but it wasn't that there weren't emotions there, but I was able to hold it together.
What was the most emotional part about this week, Larry?
I think first time it was the toast, the Hall of Fame toast, where only Hall of Famers go into the bus room. And Joe Green was talking, and Willie Lanier was talking, and Bruce Smith was talking, and all these guys that you read about and who kind of built this foundation that we all stand on now, and there's new inductees. And I think to be able to get the history lesson, I was able to be able to joke with Paul Krause and be able to hang with LT and see Randy. Like it's indescribable.
All weekend,
man.
people were coming up to all the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, no, I mean, but it's just it's like a respect. It doesn't matter if you played in the 60s. It doesn't matter if you played in the 90s. If you were in the 210s, it doesn't matter if you were in the 80s. Like, it's all a brotherhood. And we all had to earn our way to get here. And I think that really, is crystallized when you're in the room with everybody.
Share that stage with your son. Look, your son Apollo's over there doing football drills.
Yeah.
It looks like. Just what did that mean to have all the Fitzgerald boys here?
Oh, man, to be able to have your sons experience this and be able to have Devin, induct me, it meant a lot, man. I still remember Awatuki, bathing him in the sink when he was, 2 or 3 weeks old, and now to think he's left the house and off in college doing his own thing, pursuing his own dreams. It makes you feel old, He gave me all these grades and stuff in my hair.
A few more than when I met you.
Man, come on, man. Come on. They're coming for you. You shaved, though. That's the only reason.
I got like 10 on each side of the head.
But it's thankful. My grandfather, I used to always tease him about him being old, and he would say, there's a lot of people in cemeteries that wish they could be as old as I am. So it always made me think you should need to appreciate it.
I know you miss your dad.
Yeah.
I miss your dad. A lot of people miss your dad. Did you think about him up there or this weekend today?
Absolutely. The Hall of Fame was kind enough to leave a seat vacant for my dad, and I could feel his presence. I know he was there with me, along with my mom. They did so much to enable me, and I really wish he could have been here. But obviously, things happen. But I love him. I cherish him. And the memories that we created together will live on in my mind for the rest of my life.
So Devin Booker here, Patrick Peterson here, Calais Campbell's waiting for you over there, like Kurt Warner. I think he had a tear in his eye. Everybody was happy to celebrate you.
Thank you, man. I felt the love. I really did. I mean, there was a lot of Arizona Cardinals people here this entire weekend. And
those Larry chants, they bring back some memories.
They do. To be able to just kind of reciprocate the love that they've shown me over the years, to be able to have all the Bidwells here, Michael, Nicole, and Tim, they all came out, and they've been unbelievable in making this a first-class experience for me.
Anything you didn't say this week that you need to get off your heart?
No, I'm looking forward to coming back and celebrating Patrick Peterson one day, and looking forward to coming back and celebrating Calais Campbell and other teammates who have earned the right to be in here. And so that's what I'm excited for in the future.
Larry Fitzgerald, the Hall. We can say it now. For years we tell you, hey, you're going to be in there. And you'd be like, Cam, we got to wait. Now it's official.
You can't put the cart before the horse.
Yeah. And the goal looks good.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm down about 15. Okay. People calling me chubby, and I had to get down. Yeah.
I'll catch it.
All right.
Tramp, some of my favorite parts of this past week was seeing many of you at home, Cardinal fans that I've known for years. There's just something about hanging out at the birthplace of football with a bunch of football fans that's just fun. Larry tried to prank us all one more time, faking like he's going to drop his bus. Come on, Larry. We know you don't drop things. Remember those nice hands, Larry commercials back in the day? He's a rookie Hall of Famer, so he's getting the rookie treatment. Wait for it here. Gets hit with the towel before taking the Hall of Fame photo with all the living members of the Hall of Fame. Last week was super emotional. Larry said part of his story that matters the most is the people you surround yourself with. Part of that is you at home, our community, our valley, our state. So, Larry, thanks for bringing Arizona along for the ride, and congrats, first ballot Hall of Famer.
There's so many special things about that place. I'm still always in awe and kind of dumbfounded that that I got a bust in that place, and I get to wear a gold jacket and enjoy all the festivities. But as I tell everybody, I'm not giving it back. I'm gonna enjoy it as long as I can until they decide maybe I shouldn't be in there. But I'm so looking forward to this week. Obviously, some guys I played against, some guys I competed against, and obviously my good friend and Larry Fitzgerald.
Oh, they're never taking it back, Kurt. You without a question belong in there. You know that. Larry, going into the Hall of Fame, what are the emotions? Someone you know and have known for a long time very, very well.
Yeah, I'm just excited for him. I saw all the work. I saw the evolution of Larry Fitzgerald. I saw the growth from the time I got there, when he was a second-year player to what he became. I remember the way he was challenged by different people, whether it was me or Todd Haley or Bruce Arians, and how every time he stepped up, he represented everything that was good about the game. He belongs in Canton. He belongs as a first ballot Hall of Famer. And I can't wait to share in some of those moments with him.
Did you give him any advice on the speech? Did he reach out and ask you how can I trim some of this down or anything like that?
We didn't talk about his speech once he started it, but he did call me early in the process and go, okay, talk me through, what you liked about what you did and what you didn't like. And this week becomes such a whirlwind that you're trying to figure out what's the right way to do it so I can enjoy it, and I can enjoy it with the people that I want to enjoy it with. They try to tell you 12 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever it is. And I'm like, brother, this is your moment. Like, this is the last chance you have in this great game to kind of share your story and thank the people that you want to thank and share what you want to share. And so they might put a time limit on it, but blow right past that stop sign. Say what you want to say and make sure that this is the speech that you want to kind of leave your mark. The emotions hit you different, and they hit you at different times. And so I look forward to watching how those things hit Larry, throughout the weekend.
If Kurt Warner says blow past the stop sign, take that to the bank. Kurt, when he got the news he was going to be in the Hall of Fame, he brought up something with you and Brendan. Back in the day, he would come over and hang out. And he credited you a lot for helping him grow up as a man. Do you remember those times together?
I think a lot of people would look at us and go, if these guys can't be close friends. I don't know if I had a closer friend from a football perspective in my entire time in the NFL. And I think a lot of people would look and go, how's that possible? You got the old guy and the young guy. You got black and white, and you got, family man and a single guy, all these different things. But he was always open to learning and watching. It was really cool to see, him kind of open to my world and my life. And then to watch him, from that 21-year-old kid grow up. I'm going to remember those days fondly. To become the leader, there were times where I didn't know if he was going to say a word when I was with him. And to watch him become that vocal leader and that emotional leader, there's just so many cool things and so many cool moments that we experienced together. And
I was just about to ask. He's family, right? In the Warner household, like honorary family member.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, there's no question about it. He's welcome anytime, and my kids love him. And like I said, we still share stories about him. I know my wife even texts him at different times, hitting him up about different things. And so he is very much family. We've always felt that way, and it's going to feel that way when we get a chance to celebrate him with him this weekend.
Kirk, get you out here on this. Did he ever demand the ball from you?
I'll share a little story with you because you talk about growing up and learning. I remember a game where we were playing in Seattle, and we were just kind of starting to turn that corner, and so much of what I wanted to do when I got to Arizona was to help them learn how to win. And we're getting late in the game, and Mark Dalton well, the guy that kept track of all the stats and the media and everything. And so oftentimes in the middle of games, Mark Dalton would be the one that would kind of walk over and tell you, hey, you had to, 300-yard game. Or, he would walk over to coach and whisper, hey, Steve Breston's, 5 yards from 1,000, just to kind of put little bugs in people's ear about, hey, it's a pretty cool accomplishment. Maybe we should throw another one to Steve so he can get that 1,000-yard barrier or whatever it is. And so Mark would do that. And I remember in that game, we're winning that game and, kind of the final stretches of that game. And I think Larry was at like 97 yards in that game. And so I know Mark went over and, mentioned it to Wiz, and I think Wiz mentioned it to Larry. And, and we're just trying to run out the clock here. And all of a sudden, somebody pops in my ear and said, hey, Larry's 3 yards short of 100. We're going to throw a quick little now out and get him 100 yards. And I remember running over to Larry, and I'm like, what are we doing? Like, why are we chasing 100 yards here? Like, you're a great receiver. You're going to have 1,100,000 yards. Like, why is that in this moment where we're trying to finish out a game on the road and simply win, we're worried about individual stats? It was just a teaching moment. Like, I didn't care if we threw Larry a now route and got him 100 yards, but it was a moment where you go, here's our best player. I'm going to make an example through him that's going to speak to this whole team about what we're trying to do here. And, the cool thing about Larry is, he felt a little bit embarrassed at the time, but it was something that he would take with him and he would take it to heart. There's always fun moments like that where I could use Larry as kind of an example for other guys on, this is what we're trying to build here. If I can do it for Larry, everybody else kind of falls into place. So that was kind of a fun moment we shared together. And again, I laugh about it now, but I was really serious. Like I was really angry in the moment, but it was really about setting the tone for what we wanted to accomplish as a team.
And he learned, he listened, and he carried it with him. And then he tackled you years later during a live shot.
Oh, he did. He was waiting to get back at me for that many times. So yes, on live TV, he took me down.
TV. Two things with pro football are accountability and availability. And Larry just nailed it on both of them. He was accountable to everybody all the time. Every decision he made was in the best interest of the Cardinals to win, and he was always available. He always practiced. I tried to sit him out of a game one time when he had a pulled hamstring. He said, I'm playing. And he scored a 70-yard touchdown. I mean, only Larry could do that kind of stuff.
Coach, you got to see probably a different side than most did. What type of teammate was he behind the scenes?
Oh, he's fantastic. I always tell everybody about our Saturday morning walkthroughs. We'd have all the kids out there and all the families. I told them, bring your children. And Larry wouldn't leave till he tackled every kid. Every kid got to tackle Larry. He tackled every single kid Saturday morning, threw passes to him. I mean, he stayed out there for an hour and a half afterwards, just to make sure every kid got what they needed.
Larry being Larry. Did he ever tackle you?
Yes. One time I said, you ever do this again, I'm going to knock you out. My knees and my back, shoot, I can't take that. He got me good one time.
Well, he also got you good after a game-winning field goal, right? Didn't he tear your shoulder up celebrating?
Yeah, all three rotator cuffs up in Seattle on that game-winning field goal. And, only Larry is like, okay, man, if I'm not playing golf for a year, I better be driving the coolest sports car they make. And we joked about it for 6-7 months and went home Christmas morning, and there it was with a big red bow in the driveway from Fitz. My wife said, Larry, what are you doing? You can't buy him. I'm going to buy him a car. He said, he put me in the Hall of Fame, made me $50 million. I'm about to buy him a car.
Anything else that stands out in your eyes?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Green Bay playoff game, I didn't think they'd ever tackle him on that play. And, I love Carson on that play because we all knew he was going to be wide open. And if you remember, Carson got spun around, he's pirouetting. He's like, let me just get this damn ball over there to Larry because I know he's wide open.
Wait, so you knew he was going to be that wide open?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we had saved that play. We thought we were going to use it to drive before and didn't need it. But then we get down to the 2-yard line, and then, we practiced that shovel pass for 21 weeks, and it was a perfect play for that time, and those guys just executed it perfect. And when we made that transition, Larry was the split receiver for so many years, and a great one. They say, okay, bro, it's time to learn something new and get inside and extend your career. And he's like, oh, wait a minute now. I don't know about that. And I said, look, you can move inside. You're going to have to block some, but I'll get you 100 balls. What? I'll get you 100 balls. You move inside. And maybe 20 touchdowns, because every week I design these plays in the red zone, and whoever blocks and does the dirty work, they get the touchdowns. And Larry says, I'm in.
His hand probably went up so fast in the meeting, right?
Larry's such a unique individual. I'm so sad that his pop can't be there, and I know that meant the world to him. And Larry treated our family, and always has, fantastic, and when my grandkids would come to practice or whatever, he made sure he went and saw them. And I go back the year before my brother-in-law died, he was out, and Larry always throws that party for the team and the coaches to kick off the season. And my brother-in-law and his wife were there, and he met him, and we have the same birthday. And he came back the next year, and he was in a wheelchair, and he was dying of cancer. And Larry cried. And when he came up to me, isn't that your brother-in-law down there? And I said, yeah, he's struggling, man. He ran down, gave him the biggest hug, and brought tears to my sister-in-law's eyes and my brother-in-law's eyes. And we wheeled him out on the field the next day, and as soon as Larry said, throw me an outcut. And we threw him an outcut, and he ran right over to Trim and gave him the ball. And, that's just Larry. That's how special a person he is.
Obviously, Larry Fitzgerald going into the Hall of Fame this week. Dave, do you have a favorite Larry Fitzgerald story, maybe something that we haven't seen that stands out in your mind?
Well, there's so many of them. One of the things I always loved about Larry is Larry understood. I think Kurt Warner helped Larry with this. I don't know at age 20 that Larry understood it. I mean, what really do we understand at age 20? And then all of a sudden you're the face of a franchise and given millions of dollars. I think it takes some time to learn on the job about how to be a professional. I think Larry would tell you that. I think Kurt Warner really helped him with that. But I remember Larry, sometimes he'd just come up and sit with us. He would sometimes sit with the offensive linemen. Sometimes he'd go sit with the defensive backs. He'd go sit with the trainers. He'd go sit with the team doctors. He just got it. He just liked people. I'll never forget, this is now almost 20 years ago. We had a health scare with my wife, and I remember I missed a Saturday college football game. And I don't know how Larry found out, but I got a phone call that morning from Larry asking me, first of all, how my wife was doing, and then obviously how I was doing dealing with it. And not many people knew about it. And I just always appreciated that Larry is a kind, thoughtful person that really cares about the person, not just you as a broadcaster. If you had a problem with Larry Fitzgerald, then you were the problem. Yeah. It wasn't because it was something Larry did. It was you. To have two incredible runs like he did in a postseason, several years apart as well, 7 years I believe it was pretty remarkable.
Can you put back on the mic for a second and give me some hope with our Cardinals this year? I don't think they're going to be as bad as some people nationally are saying. There's too much talent on this team.
Well, it's so hard to know because you look at the schedule, and based on last year, it's the hardest schedule in the league. But the biggest issue is, do you have somebody at quarterback that can, if you get into a slugfest, that can win you games? And I'm not sure they have that. I know they paid Jacoby Brissett, and I think watching Jacoby last year, given the situation with the injuries, and I think some players that we hoped would be better but weren't, I thought he fared about as well as he could. But I'm not sure the ceiling for him is enough where you get into a game where you need to score 35 points that he can do that. Now, Jeremiah Love helps them because he can do different things. He can take the defense and force them to be attentive to him and to build their game plan around him. And I think Michael Wilson's a number one receiver. And you obviously have Trey McBride. Defensively, they've got some guys that have been drafted pretty high that, it's time. And if they don't step up, the Cardinals have to decide whether to move on from them. Do I think they'll be the worst team in the league? No. I think they'll surprise people in the sense that they'll win some games. I think they'll probably win more games than they did last year. But I do think there are a ton of question marks for the offense, and I'm really curious how it plays out.
Dave, we'll get you out of here on this. Anything you want to say to Cardinal fans out the door?
Well, I guess, Cam, the only thing I would say is, first of all, thank you for inviting me into your homes and your cars for 2+ decades. I hope that in the good times and in the bad times, you felt connected to me as I felt to you. I just appreciate the trust that you gave me to be able to talk about the team and paint the picture for you, whatever you were doing on a Sunday, whether you were out in the yard or picking up, a family member, driving your kids around, or coming home from church, or trying to watch it by syncing it up with the TV, which I know is hard for people, but I just want to thank the fans for the chance to be connected to them. And I'll miss them for sure.
And that'll do it for us. Thank you so much for watching 12 Sports Tonight on the 12 News Free 24/7 streaming app. I'm Cameron Cox. We'll see you back here Sunday night for the best sports coverage in town. Here's the lineup. Arizona's #1 sports show, 12 Sports Locker Room, right after Sunday Night Baseball, right here on NBC. And then, of course, 12 Sports Tonight at 10:30. Good night. God bless.